What is happening, everybody? Welcome to episode number 25 of the Bards of Gaming podcast, where this week I am very excited to announce I am finally dropping the Division episode. It's been long awaited ever since I announced the t-shirt giveaway back in June, and, well, long awaited for me anyway. And this was, so it's a little bit of backstory. If you're new to the show, if this is your first time listening, back in June of 2024, I decided to run a t-shirt contest giveaway, and the winner of that giveaway not only won a free t-shirt, but they also won the chance to join me on an episode of the show. So the winner, I hope they got the t-shirt. It's I haven't really been able to get much communication from them since I got their information, sent them the t-shirt, whatnot. But they had said that they wanted me to cover the Division, so the first one. So I said, okay, great. I will happily play the game and let you know when I'm getting near to done with it, and then we can collaborate together on an episode. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get them to join me on the episode, but I was able to get a very special guest, friend of the podcast, and multiple shout-out recipient, I guess I should say, Aeon Driver Gaming. And he was a fantastic guest. We had a really great time talking about this episode, or talking about this game for this episode, and I really hope that you guys enjoy listening to it. But that being said, I don't really have a lot of announcements. I am working on a couple of other episodes coming up, including Batman Arkham Asylum is going to be another three-way episode. I'm going to have two guests on there, a couple of buddies of mine, and they claimed a stake in that episode months ago. So I've just been backed up and haven't really had the time to play it. Also, on top of that, I am working on putting together my comprehensive personal list for my ranking of all of the Tony Hawk mainline titles. I'm not going to be putting in, like, the DS title because, in my opinion, it was hot garbage. So I'm mainly just going to be covering any console release games, major releases, whatnot. So those are the next two episodes I got coming up, is Batman Arkham Asylum and my Tony Hawk's worst to best rankings episode. And as always, I'm so sorry if it sounds like I'm living in a zoo right now. My animals are driving me up the wall. I love them, but oh my god. Anyway, so what am I playing right now? If any of you care to listen, I've been actually playing a bit of Diablo 2. I would like to do an episode on that coming up with my buddy Ben, maybe, or somebody else, anybody who's played it. And I've also just been playing Stardew Valley whenever I have any free time to not focus on schoolwork or anything like that. So that is it. I hope you enjoy the episode, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. So this week we are joined with the fucking amazing guest who I have shouted out many, many times, and I'm butchering this intro, but Aeon Driver, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, sir. How about yourself?
Not too bad, and I know we just spent the last 20 minutes or so just catching up, getting to know each other, but I'm going to act as if that never happened. I am very happy to have you here on the show this week. As I've said, I've shouted you out multiple times, and I'm thrilled to finally be talking gaming with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad to be here. I mean, honestly, I've been listening ever since we followed each other. So it's nice to come on here and actually, like, shoot the shit, as it were.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I gotta say, I really do appreciate all the support and all the shout outs you've given me. And thank you for making the time to come on and talk about the Division with me.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a game that I have played in the past, so I needed a little refresher on it. But yeah, I'm glad to kind of share some insight on it.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know, for anybody who hasn't kept track with this show and its unorganized mess over the last month or two, back in June, I ran a t-shirt giveaway, and I had a bunch of people join in on. It was free. It was totally free. It was like one of those things where you follow, like, subscribe, share, tag, whatever. And a bunch of people joined, and I took every single person that was eligible for entry, put their name in a hat, and spun the wheel. And the person who won, I also gave a chance to join me on an episode of the show and choose the game. Well, as it would happen, I did reach out to that person multiple times, and they were not able to join me. So I reached out to a couple of people, and one of them being Aeon Driver here, who very graciously said, "I would love to join you." So here we are. Um, and as you said, you have listened to the show before, so you kind of know the lay of the land. And for anybody who doesn't know, I always kind of start with what we don't like about the game, what we do like about the game, and then just bullshit. So, care to
Yeah.
start?
Yeah, for sure. Now, I played both of them. I played the first and the second one. Um, More recently, I wanted to play the second one to kind of see what the changes were between the first and the second one, and not a whole lot really changed. I feel like they did kind of make they wanted to kind of like elaborate like because most MMOs they have like the Holy Trinity. They have like the healer, the tank, and the DPS, right?
Okay.
Um, with this one, they kind of I feel like they kind of expanded on that a little bit. Like they made different mods to different the different I guess perks that you get to where you can solely like gear towards healing people or solely gear towards like making like a really good damaging build.
Yeah.
I felt that was more elaborated in the second one. To be honest, like with games like these, even starting from like when Borderlands, because it's a looter shooter as well, it's like how much of the story am I going to bother listening to, and when will you give me my free crap? Is, is usually the where I get down to before I start mashing like the X button to get past all the story and stuff.
I will say that this game, though, I don't know if it's just because I grew up in the New York metropolitan area or what, but like this game hit a little close to home.
Yeah,
Especially as somebody who has always gone out on Black Friday and also post COVID, I'm like, it's kind of hits close.
yeah, no, that's one of like the pluses I was gonna put down is that it had a really good like recreation. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like things were very detailed. It gave you like a sense of like loneliness, right? Like it's post-apocalyptic basically. Like there's
yeah,
papers in the streets, there's busted up cars. Um, like it definitely feels like a city, like you're running through a city, which
yeah,
is it's one of the pluses I put down for it. Yeah, it's definitely yeah, like compared to other like looter shooter games that kind of like take like Destiny for example, right? Like you have this whole planet to go to, but you're only gonna see like 1% of that whole planet. Like you
mm,
don't actually have that sense of scale that this game and the second one had.
yeah. Yeah, I will say that this game and the likes and dislikes, I'm just gonna be all over the fucking place with this, so I don't care about keeping it whatever structured.
Right.
I will absolutely agree with you that the world design in this game was top tier. And I mean, this game came out, I think, in 2014. And like, as someone, like I said, who grew up going to the city and working in the city and all this stuff, like seeing how they recreated these landmarks. And I mean, granted, it's not to scale. There's no way
Yeah.
it would be.
Right.
But the way that they did recreate some of these landmarks, like getting to go through Madison Square Garden and all these different, major landmarks, I thought it was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely like going like because it's all intertwined with the story, right? Like you're getting
Yeah.
like if you see like big area that's popular in real life that it's well known, more than likely there's going to be something that tied a story into it.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't do more with like uh I mean the game takes place from like Midtown to Battery Park. And so that's like the bottom half of Manhattan. So I'm kind of surprised that they didn't really do more with like the World Trade Center area and kind of like Stone Street and some of these places that are Wall Street, some of these places that are more popular in that area of the city. I'm surprised they didn't really do more with it, but I don't know. I guess that would have been a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you think being because I mean, it is a Tom Clancy game, right? They're using like ideas based off of stuff that he's either done or he's advised on.
Hmm.
So you'd think like the World Trade Center and things like Wall Street, stuff like that, would be more prominent because I mean, it's all historical, like military historical fantasy kind of stuff, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
I guess this is more like post-apocalyptic military fantasy, but it's still, in that kind of wheelhouse. So you'd think there'd be a little more there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they were working on the second one and they didn't include an expansion that would have gone that far. I'm not entirely sure. It's Ubisoft, right? So who knows?
Did the second one take place in New York as well?
It took place in DC, actually.
Oh, okay. I haven't
Yeah,
played the second one.
yeah, like you start off in the White House and then you kind of branch out from there.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love how this game, spoilers, but like at the end, towards the end of the game, like you end up at the United Nations building, and I thought that was a great place to end. Certain things and certain plot points and whatever. I thought that was a very cinematic, awesome place to host a big shooting gallery. But how
Yeah.
cool would it have been if you were to like walk through the trading floor of Wall Street and stuff like that? Like, you have some villain that's just like some greedy fuck and he's just, all about trying to make the money and whatever. And it's like he just holes up in some of the trading floors at Wall Street. I thought that would have been really cool.
Yeah, that would have been pretty crazy. Like that or like Ground Zero in the World Trade Center, something like that. It's just like it reminds me kind of Metal Gear Solid 2 because it
Okay.
kind of had something like that when at the very end you fight against like Solidus Snake or whatever, and you're in the middle of New York. You're in the middle of like the big trade area in there.
Oh,
Yeah, and it kind of harkens back to that, which I think I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't played it in 20 years, but
I've never played it.
but I'm pretty sure it's either there or DC. But I want to say New York. But yeah, no, like having something like that would have been great. Would have been like more like I guess apropos for like the writing style that Tom Clancy's used to doing.
Yeah. And I haven't played a lot of Tom Clancy games. My favorite so far has like stands out in my mind was Splinter Cell Conviction. And I know a lot of people shit on that one as a Splinter Cell game. I thought it was a great game in general. But this one, like, I know that this game is starkly different from Splinter Cell Conviction, but the storytelling and the way that Tom Clancy games typically are with that and, the sense of realism and fun combat and gunplay and stuff like that. This game, I gotta say, I'm really glad that they recommended this one to me because I had a blast overall.
Yeah, honestly, it's fun. It's definitely fun to see because I mean, all the weapons are based off of like real weapons, right? Like
Yeah.
you get an M9, you'll get a like an AR-15, stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. It added like a dose of realism. Of course, it being a Clancy game, I'm sure he wouldn't have anything less. Um, but yeah, and it honestly made like because they had to do research on how these guns fire. Like you'd have like an automatic shotgun versus like a pump action shotgun, and it's just kind of cool to see like the gunplay with all of that stuff when you mix in things like drones and turrets and stuff like that too. I think it's really yeah, it's really easy to overwhelm enemies in that if you go with the right build. And it's just so much fun when you blatantly have the upper hand and something that you shouldn't be.
Yeah. Now, when you played through this game originally, did you do it solo or did you play it with a group of friends?
So I did it with a group of friends.
Okay.
Which I did not have that same luxury this time around. I think there was like maybe one person that I've seen the whole time I was going through it until endgame.
Really?
Yeah, and I was going on matchmaking every time I do like a major story event. I would do matchmaking and I would just sit there for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, well, no one's gonna be here. I guess I'll just solo it.
I mean, to be fair, it is a 10-year-old game, and I will say that once you go to the like the main hub area, forget what it's called, but there are people, like if you go into the basement of there, like there
Yeah.
are plenty of people that are doing like the more advanced, online only kind of missions.
Yeah, for
And
sure. You can see their rank and stuff next to their name, and it's like, okay, this is like guys like level like 4,050. You know what I mean? It's like this
yeah,
massive gear number, right? And
yeah.
it's just like, okay, well, if you want to help a little lad out like me, I'm doing this one mission.
You don't want that actually, and I learned the hard way that apparently, because okay, so I started playing this game with a buddy of mine, and it kind of got to a point where I was like, he was playing other stuff with other friends, and I was like, all right, I got to keep moving, like I got to get this done for the show, so I got to keep playing this. I'll just solo the rest of it, and it got to a point where like I was level 25 and he was level 12. And he was like, hey, join my game, let's play this together and you can help me out. I was like, yeah, sure. Well, apparently, this game, when you're playing it multiplayer, it takes the average of everybody's level and it
Yeah,
makes all the enemies that level. So, like, I'd be fighting level 20 guys, but him at level 12 is also fighting level 20 guys. So he's fucked and I'm having a cakewalk.
Right, right. And honestly, like I didn't get to see that aspect because I we had a static group playing this the first time around, like in 2014, 2015.
Okay.
We'd have like a group of 3 or 4 people like interchange. And so we'd always kind of be catching up to each other.
Yeah.
This time around it was pretty much all solo. So I didn't really get to see that level discrepancy, but I can definitely yeah, I mean honestly it makes sense. And especially because of how bullet spongy some of these like towards the end game characters can get.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that would be a very much a task if you were under leveled for that.
Yeah, it was not easy on him to play with me towards the end, but we decided to just part ways at that point. I will say, like, when I tried giving this game a go back in like 2017, 2018, something like that. It was a few years after the game had kind of lost popularity. I think the second one might have already been out by that point. And I picked it up on sale for nothing on PlayStation. And I started playing it and I got to like the end of Brooklyn, so like the intro area. I don't
Yeah.
even think I went to Manhattan because I picked it up and I was like, you know what? This is fun. It's cool, but I I think that it's meant to be played as like a 4-player multiplayer kind of game.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
I just put it down and didn't bother with it until, Alberlina gave me the recommendation to play this game.
Gotcha. Yeah, and honestly, nothing is more evident of that fact than when you get to the dark zone, because
Yeah.
you will get camped if you don't if you don't have people to help you out. And there are people who like, and I'm not sure because I didn't do it this time around, but I did it in the height of its popularity. But there are people like over leveled people who will sit there and just camp the entrances to anybody who has like made the mistake of going into a place they shouldn't have.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was pretty rough. I had to bail my brother out because he was just stuck like trying to there was something he needed to get to the dark zone for. There was like I guess there was a quest he had to do,
Mm.
and he had to get to the dark zone and do something because he really wanted the reward for it. But he was just getting just trounced every time he got in there, and I was like 4 or 5 levels ahead of him. I was like, I can give it a try, but I'm not guaranteeing anything, man. I'll probably be right there with you.
This is why I stopped playing online PvP games. I hate them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so
It's
shitty.
whatever way someone can get ahead, they will do it. That's just like a rule of thumb with online games anymore.
Yeah, I gave up PvP a while ago. I mean, like I remember getting Modern Warfare 2 remake when it came out, and I played
Mm.
it like that first weekend, and then have not touched it since. It
Honestly, I
just
feel like that's the same way kind of about with like fighting games too. Like I usually like I'll buy a fighting game when it comes out. I'll play online if I have the time. Like recently I haven't really, but I'll play it if I have the time. But then if you let it slip or if you come back to it, there are people who get really good at it and they'll make what's called a Smurf account, which they will make basically a lower level account on purpose so they can just beat up people up until the point where they get like whatever rank they're gonna get.
that's so scummy.
It really is, and I took a lot of pride in beating these Smurfs on my low level account because I used to do a lot of, I did a lot of in person tournaments. I was really big in the fighting game scene, probably back
Okay.
between anywhere from 2001 honestly, up until like 2014, 2015.
Okay.
So yeah, I would just join up as like somebody who just didn't have enough time, and then I'd get somebody who you could obviously tell they were much better than what their rank said,
Yeah.
and it would just it felt really good watching someone like that rage quit.
I can imagine like I'll honestly I've always just been hot garbage at fighting games. I never put time into them. I'm a button masher. I'm not a good fighting game player. So watching somebody at that caliber play, it's fucking mind blowing to me. Like I remember going to PAX East and they had competitions like daily leaderboard competitions, and it was kind of like I don't know if this is part of the course for fighting games, but they would have two people sit down and then the winner would just keep playing everybody until eventually he lost, and they would count how many wins you got in a row and put you on the leaderboard. But I think some dude had like 52 wins in a row. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I wish I could have seen that.
Oh wow, yeah, that reminds me back of the old arcade days where you put up your quarter and just try to fight somebody. Uh, but yeah, honestly, like there was, let's see, I was really good at Soul Calibur 2
That's a
back.
good one.
Yeah, and there would be like there would be like this conquest mode where you'd go up against. It's like one of the first games that used like AI characters based on like how you would play,
Yeah.
and like you would just go in there, you just do your own thing, and then someone would go and fight you. And I swear there was a line like nearly to the door with people trying to beat me, and it's just like I gotta go. There's like my pretzel's getting cold. I just went to Auntie Anne's or whatever, and like, I gotta go back, and then like I'll just leave, and then someone will just take over. But
That's
it was
great.
yeah, it was fun times, man. Like I could not get to that level again. I am just there's just so much going on that but it was great. It was honestly great. But yeah, back to this. Definitely if there's a way that somebody will get ahead of you, it doesn't matter what game it is. They will definitely try it.
Yeah. I wonder, you know what? Talking about the fighting games and everything, it made me think with this game, what would it have worked well? Would it have been fun if there was some sort of like gulag mode for this sort of game? Like, you know how in Warzone, when you die, two players go to the gulag, they fight, they duke it out, and then, but like, I don't know, would something like that do you think would work for this game? I feel like that would be kind of fun.
I feel like okay, so if you put it in like the quest areas, because you know how you have like a no respawn area when you go into some
Yeah.
of these places. If you changed it to where like maybe if you died, you would have to like come back from whatever like holding cell you have in that area to try to get back to your people. I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. I feel like a fight too, like in this game, akin to like the Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3, like the sniper hunt. I feel like
Yeah.
something like that in this game would have been pretty cool. Like working your way through the towers of New York City to try to find somebody who's sniping from the windows. That
Oh
would have been a cool
yeah.
mission. I would have liked that.
So speaking of maybe having something like the World Trade Center or something like that, like you just have like people like from one tower to the next, right? And it'd
Yeah.
just be like a sniping battle, like going up the floors through the windows to the top. That'd be pretty sick, dude.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then imagine having like zip lines and shit that you could have on certain floors and certain windows, and you had to like work your way up through. Like that would be if there was a multiplayer mode for this game where there was just like tower battle, and it
Yeah.
was like 4 on 4, and you had like a few different zip line points where you could go across and try to do CQB, and then
Yeah.
for the most part everybody's sniping from tower to tower looking for where the lights. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it would honestly be like the game that the new Modern Warfares would be trying to do.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing too. I used to do a lot of first person shooters professionally as well.
Okay.
And you would always have those choke points, right? You'd always like gear your entire team strategy around things like zip lining between buildings and stuff like that. It would just be like a nice sniper's paradise right there, just kind of waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
And just to kind of like even if it's just like search and destroy, something like that. It's like okay, you had to get from this tower to this tower while fending off people, and then trying to just like plant a bomb at a point or try to like defuse something. Just
Yeah.
have like a very what's that word? Like an objective based gameplay mode. That would be pretty sweet too.
Yeah, I feel like, especially with, I mean, I actually have written down here as one of my likes the marksman rifles. That personally, I don't know about you, my weapon of choice throughout basically this entire game was the marksman rifles, especially if I could get them in semi-automatic because they packed a punch, they were quick to reload, and you could do most of your one-shot kills with just that. But if there was some sort of sniper one on sniper team battle, especially using those, I would have been all over that.
Yeah, I mean, in the way you can mod weapons, especially in the second one, anyway, you could like cater something that was like specifically made to be long range to something that you can deal with medium range, like especially with semi-automatic, right? Like you have the power and like the distance to go as far as you need to, but you also have like the flexibility of like if you need to like pop off a few rounds right in front of you, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was mostly assault rifles, and then assault rifle and shotgun for the most
Okay.
part. Yeah. I usually had like my perks and stuff. Like I think I had like the turret or the drone or whatever. I would have that just take over anything that was super long range. I would just kind of like tell it to go out and do whatever it needed to do, and then I
Yeah.
would work my way up to it. But give the marksman rifle a good try, and I kept one for a while until like blatantly overpowered it with the next assault rifle I got.
Yeah, like I would kind of just hang on to my marksman rifle as my primary. I would usually keep a an SMG as
Yeah.
my secondary, but I would keep a marksman rifle as my primary, and I only ever put on like a 4 times, ACOG scope, and that was really all I used for. And I'm sorry, anybody who can hear my cat going crazy in the background, but yeah, that's really all I used for like the majority of the game. And I'll be honest, once I hit level 30, and I don't know if this is because I got like the deluxe edition or whatever on Steam, but I ended up getting a few like level 30 items as soon as I started the game, and I just put them in my stash and kind of forgot about them until I got to that point. But once I got to that point, I was ready to do the final mission in the game against the helicopter.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know. And they have this whole sequence set up where you're supposed to run around, avoid fire, and turn on the turrets so that the turrets can destroy the helicopter. I just sat under a bridge and just sniped the fucker, like with the marksman rifle, and in like 20 shots he was down.
Yeah, honestly, like I was the fool trying to do the turrets. To be honest, like I was, because I was like, "There's no way that this pea shooter is going to be able to do anything against that." Right. So I was just booking it, just hauling ass. It's like, oh, is that going down? Let me just go and get shot, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, I looked at the area that they had you doing that, and I kind of just said, "Fuck that." And
Yeah.
my marksman rifle did like 130k DPS. I was like, I'm just gonna use this.
Oh, that's yeah. Honestly, like if you think about it, that's the play though, because then you just get into a place where they can't really hit you that often, or you can have good, nice cover from it, and then you just poke out when you need to. I mean, like there was no way my shotgun was gonna, no matter what scope I put on that thing, and I put some long range scope on a stupid shotgun. It looked dumb, but there was no way that was gonna hit anything. And then my assault rifle, it did some damage, right? It did, but it did it like in such measly amounts that I couldn't really, like I needed to use the stage for that.
Yeah. I like though that like in this game you could use you just reminded me of something. I like that you could change or like use special ammo types. Like you could use explosive ammo for like 3 minutes or fire ammo, whatever.
Yeah.
I wish that, especially for what you're saying, like with the shotgun, I wish there was a way that you could change it to slugs.
You know what's funny is that when you look at some of those models, it looks like they do buckshot, right? It looks like they don't do. I mean, there's like like the single barrel, like tube fed like shotguns, and it's like this looks like it would shoot a slug, but
Yeah,
it
like
doesn't.
you could get like the 870 or whatever they call it in this game, and like okay, I can understand if that's shooting double O buck or whatever with a
Right.
wide spread, but then there's some assault shotguns that are magazine fed, and I'm like, there's no way that this would not shoot a slug.
Right, right. I mean, like if you can load Dragon's Breath into something, you can probably load a slug in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
the
honestly, like the incendiary ones was my weapon of choice there, my ammo of choice if I could.
Yeah. What was your favorite? So there was multiple enemy types in this game. You had the Rikers, you had the Cleaners. What was your favorite enemy type to fight?
You know, the cleaners probably would have been honestly like I didn't really, and I'm gonna say that now, I didn't really pay too much attention to them. Like it's just like what could they do to me,
Yeah.
and how could I kill them? That was my two biggest things. Like how armored are they? And and I noticed there was one faction that was very tech heavy,
Yeah.
and they would make it a point to like just counter both my drone and my turret as much as they possibly could.
Mhm.
And having one of them out, and I forgot what faction they were, but having like their turrets out, they were so much stronger than mine. And it didn't matter how many bullets I put into this thing, like, and they were on point with aim too, like
Yeah.
as turrets should be, right? So, but yeah, it's just like I hate those guys, but I respect it and I want it. Like I want that turret, and I never
Yeah.
could get it.
I think that was like the what are they called? The MCB or MGB or whatever the hell they were at the end of the game.
Okay, yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, they were my least favorite to fight. I mean, I enjoyed that they gave me a challenge finally,
Yeah,
but they were my least favorite to fight because once you got to the point of fighting them, now you're fighting all of the golden tag enemies. So like, if you've never played this game before, basically there's 3 difficulties of enemies in this game. You have, and you could tell by their health bar color. So the easiest ones are red, and those are like the ones you find pretty much everywhere in the game, and they're just standard thug villains, whatever. They're just regular difficulty. Then it goes purple. They're a little bit harder. They have some shields to them. Then it goes yellow or gold, and they are typically that color is typically reserved for like boss fights or mini boss fights. And once you get up to the final enemy type, the MCB or whatever they're called, a lot of the enemies you're going to be fighting are yellow.
Oh, I think it's the last man battalion.
LMB. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, that's right, because they look like super soldiers coming out. It's crazy, and they were almost all yellow.
And the ones that had the riot shields pissed me off.
Oh yeah, for sure. Honestly, like I would try to do my best to just angle grenades behind them, so I could just so they can drop that shield long enough for me to like get a headshot in,
or at least get them out of cover.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the LMBs were pretty gnarly.
Yeah, just thankfully they were really only towards the end, and I gotta say, one thing I also liked about this game was the progression of it. And like the way that the city is broken down into different districts, like it would be in real life, or like it is in real life. I really enjoyed how you could see on the map where each kind of like, okay, this is for level 1 through 5, this is for level 5 through 12, whatever, and like so you weren't running. It does kind of fuck you up at one point, because right in the beginning you start out on the bottom left of the map. The district directly above you is like a level 30 district.
Yeah, right. I did notice that, and it's just like they try to like I guess narrowly kind of like you don't want to go there. You want to go here, like kind of discreetly. Like you don't want to do that. That place looks tough. You don't want to do that. Let's do this one over here.
Yeah, and I find it kind of ridiculous that they did it like that, because there's really nothing there for you until after you beat the game.
Right. And I mean, honestly, like with games like these, like you definitely have like your end game areas, like stuff that you're probably not even going to want to mess with until you at least beat it or gotten to a certain level. Yeah. But to have it so close to your starting area, it's kind of jarring in a sense. It's just like, why is this here? Like, why is this staring me in the face? I'm 2. I have this one gun.
Yeah. It reminds me kind of like the old Final Fantasies or like the old Dragon Quest games, where like, especially in Dragon Quest, like you could see the map, but you couldn't see where the zones were designated. So you would kind of like, in the original Dragon Quest, they would kind of say like, hey, if you cross this bridge, you're asking for it. But sometimes the districts would be separated by like a bush. And how are you to know? So you would walk 1 block away or 1 simple tile away, and now you're fighting an enemy that's 3 times your level.
Yeah, honestly, that kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 11. I was a big Final Fantasy 11 player back in the early 2000s, and they wouldn't tell you anything. It would just be this zone, and there were certain zone areas, and then you would just be exploring, because like, oh man, I'm exploring. I'm at this high level. I think I'm this high level. I can go wherever I want. And then some orc just goes by, just mollywops you, and it's like, okay, that was a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that they did a really good job with it in the Division, because like as you level up. So one thing about this world is that as you walk through the world, the setting of it is very, like you said, post-apocalyptic, very desolate, but very lived in as well. There's a lot of civilians, and it feels good. The buildings have a good amount of, depth to them. You can explore, go up a few stories, whatever. But as you explore the city, you come across random events. Sometimes you'll find somebody being mugged, or you'll find a couple of enemies that are just, searching through a backpack, and you could just fight them right there in the middle of the street. Yeah. Those enemies and those encounters are typically scaled to your current level, no matter what district you're in. However, if you go to do a mission that's in a district that's like, 3 districts ago, it's like 10 levels lower than you, it's going to be an absolute cakewalk, because they are scaled to that level. So you could be outside the gate of that mission fighting somebody that's level 20, you're level 20, and then you step inside this gate and now you're fighting somebody level 8.
Right. Yeah. But honestly though, like with those random events, like I could not help but do them. Like I could not help but like, I'll help. I can do this. And
always
you see like them like escorting like hostages down the street. I was like, well, this looks like a job for me, and I'll go out there and just do it. The supply drops were also another big one. It's like, okay, this is like my chance to get a better weapon.
Yeah.
Turns out I got crap. Okay, well that guy dropped something good. Let me see what that has. And it's just like, yeah, I couldn't help but, and I think that's what actually like stagnated my story progression. Is I
Yeah.
felt like I had to stop every time and do this stuff.
It does get very like, especially if you walk everywhere, like if you don't take advantage of the fast travel system, it definitely could slow you down. It's kind of like playing Spider-Man or like Hogwarts Legacy did that to me big time. Like you
Oh yeah.
can't go from A to B without being stopped for like 10 other side missions. So by the time you finally get to, destination B, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right, right. And then even if you go from like safe house to safe house, like using fast travel that way, like just on the way to like your next story progression, like you'll find something to do. Right? There's
Yeah.
always something to do there.
I gotta say, like, there's a couple of things you just reminded me of. One of the things when you say, safe house, like finding something on the way outside of the safe house. There's one safe house towards the end of the game, like kind of in the upper right hand of the map, where as soon as you walk out of the safe house, like as soon as you walk out of the door, if you go right, you're fine. You'll be, you just go along your merry way, don't bother with anybody. If you go left, as soon as you step foot left, basically, it puts you in a side mission.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And it destroyed me for
I
many levels.
I don't think I think I must have went the opposite direction then. Like I didn't run into it until like I knew there were side missions out in the open. I felt like with this game, like they didn't give me side missions until I felt like I was ready to get them, right? Like until
Mm.
like I would feel like, okay, I'm strong enough to, and I'm also a big grinder, right? Like I'll grind all day in an RPG. And like I was playing Bravely Default a little like when I was in El Paso, and I spent almost the majority of my plane ride there just grinding stuff out. So
Nice.
so I feel like that was a plus for me to do that, but I felt like because of that, like whatever they threw at me, I was kind of ready for, unless of course I went to like an end game area when I shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I must have made the right turn in Albuquerque, as they say.
Yeah, I noticed that towards the end of the game especially, like I don't know if it was that the map was getting more densely packed or what, but I noticed that multiple missions started overlapping each other. And I don't know if this is just something I noticed. I don't know if I'm just being nitpicky, but like in the beginning of the game, you would actually have to like go out of your way to trigger a side mission or to walk into the events of a side mission. But towards the end of the game, like I would be just walking down the road to my main mission, or I would be in my main mission, and all of a sudden I'm getting dialogue, from an automatic trigger from a side mission that's 2 blocks away.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. You're right there because they did kind of like, I don't want to say they held your hand at the beginning, but they definitely kind of like space things out, guide you to where you needed to go, and then you would say, "Oh, wait, there's a side quest here on my way. Let me do that one real quick, and then I'm back on my merry way." Right? But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like towards the end game, like as soon as you I felt like shit went down, like it's like after a certain point, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, did you pick up this thing in the middle of your mission? Well, here's the introduction to this other side mission, and
Yeah.
it's like, wait, I was fighting that guy. Hold on.
Yeah, like I remember there was one point where like I was doing one side mission. I was doing, I believe it was a you know how they got the yellow, green, and blue different, you got the medic wing, security wing, whatever.
Yeah,
So I was doing something for, I believe, like the security wing, and as I'm literally in a plaza, like I'm on one block doing my mission, I see enemies across the street, but behind a fence, and I'm like, oh, those guys must be coming for me. So I sniped all of them from where I was sitting in my one mission, only to get dialogue option or dialogue coming through my headphones saying, "Hey," from another voice saying, "Hey, good job on that." I'm like, wait a minute. Did I just complete another side mission? Because I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I walked over and sure enough I picked something up and I was like, oh yeah, I just did a completely different side mission and killed all of these enemies. Like they were right on top of each other.
oh yeah, they'll do that even in PvP zones, even like the dark zone. They'll have like a random side mission while you're fighting other people, and it's just like, oh man, you just looted this off this guy's body. Cool. Here's your reward for that. I'm like, oh, okay. I just want to live, but I'll take this free stuff.
Did you ever watch Rick and Morty?
Yes.
You know the episode where Jerry all of a sudden is just getting rewarded for doing nothing?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's kind of how I felt. I'm like, I just did one thing and I just finished like five things. Like I
Yeah.
just get all these rewards. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
There's this old Penny Arcade comic that reminds me of where they were talking about Mario Party, and they're like, "Yeah, you didn't do anything, but you were the third person in this line. You get a star." And it's like, is that really worth a star? Is it though?
Yeah, dude, that honestly that reminds me of like a real life story. When I was a teenager, I was 17 years old, and me and my friends were broke 17-year-olds, and we used to go to McDonald's all the time. And at that time, they were running a campaign of like the cash. It was up to the cashier's discretion of like they'll just give out a free meal, or like your meal would be comped by McDonald's. And the lady in front of me in line got her meal comped, and I was like, oh cool, maybe I'll be one of those lucky chosen few. And I walk up, place my order, and she's like, yeah, it's like $20. So I paid for my food. Then the guy behind me gets his meal comped. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, so I was the unlucky one there.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
like, I feel like the only person today that actually had to pay for their food.
That just like it's like people getting random like Uber Eats orders. Like, oh, this wasn't my order. It was like, well, I can't take it back. It's like sweet free meal.
Yeah, right, man. Like that must be nice.
Right? Yeah, it happened to my brother a second ago. Like, I guess there was two people in the same building. He lives out in Philly as well. Two people in the same building ordered Uber Eats, and they gave him the wrong order, and that was the only order he had. And he's like, "Well, I guess you can get a refund." It's like, sweet. I didn't order this, but I'll sure eat it though.
Nice.
Yeah.
But back to this, like I remember there was a couple of side missions that I kind of couldn't tolerate. Did you have any ones that were your favorite, or that really stand out as like they annoyed you, like types of side missions?
So, it got to the point where if like the ones where you have to kind of like stay there and guard the thing as it's
Yes.
uploading, that I mean, it got to the point where not only did it feel very samey every time I did it, but it just got kind of annoying, like just to do. Like it just like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and guard this one point. I'll sit here in this one corner and fire at these guys who try to touch my thing.
Yeah.
And then like it just got to the point where like they said, oh, okay, now just let this upload. I'm like, oh, damn it again, really?
Ugh.
Yeah, like that was. I mean, honestly, that was probably the one because I had notes that said that some of the side quests can feel very samey.
Okay.
And that was probably the kind of side quest I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
Is just like you make your way all the way through this thing, like you got to go into this very detailed building and like everything's on fire and stuff like that, and it's like here's this one random computer you hit the enter button on and wait for things to upload.
You're talking
It's
about
like,
like the virus upload ones where you had to like
yes,
find the three and you had like a timer. You
yeah,
had to, yeah. I had it noted that I did not like those ones.
yeah,
Just
and it just felt like, especially because you do have side quests that do the same thing, right? You have like not only like main quests, but you have like just things you're running into, like when you take
yeah.
over points and stuff, and it's kind of almost the same way, just like a mini version of it, and it's just like I didn't want to do this in my main quest. Why am I doing it now?
Yeah, and I remember there was one where I was in like a 5-story parking garage, and you're not given a guide of where to find them. Like you're using noise. They create like a beeping noise when you get close.
Yeah.
And I missed one, and it was in the basement. And I was running out of time, and I had to run all the way from the top of this parking garage all the way to the bottom of the parking garage to hit a computer. And then it was like, okay, now run all the way to the top of the parking garage and jump over the alleyway to get to the one that you have to protect. I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Now tell me this though: did you at one point maybe accidentally leave that area and you look like you got a point to get to, only to go in there and there was no points at all because you still had to find the thing?
I don't know if I've done that, but I do remember failing the final mission against the helicopter multiple times because I accidentally leave the area and they don't tell you where the area ends.
Oh, okay, so there was one of those missions we were talking about where you had to look for the thing, and there was two ways, and I can't remember where it was, but there was two ways to get into there. There was like a staircase and there was like a zip line, like little rope, like a zip line rope or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And like I would leave the area accidentally, and they're like, "Oh, the thing's over here," and I'm like, "Oh, sweet! You can tell me exactly where the thing is. I'll go get the thing." And then you go into there, and it's like, "Oh, it's in this general area. I was lying to you. It's just it's here somewhere." And I was like, "Oh, damn it, really?"
Yeah, that's where like the density of this, world design really does not benefit you. Like there's a lot
Right.
of detail. There's, you can go in a lot of buildings, which I think is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Like the fact that there is so much depth to this world and you can, go through 5-story apartment buildings and explore some of the apartments. Like I think that that's really great until you need to find something, one little thing throughout this block of apartments. Yeah, now good luck. And you have
Yeah,
4 minutes to do it, by the way.
and God forbid you passed it on the way out, because
Yeah.
now you have to backtrack the whole way to try to find that one thing.
Yeah, or you get sidetracked by a mission that's going on across the street that you now think is part of your mission because it was so close. So you end up leaving to go fight these guys and then realize, oh no, that's just a random encounter.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, like I don't know. The backtracking part was the killer for me, honestly. Like, cause just so some of those missions, especially the ones we're talking about, where you have to like be aware. And let's say, like for instance, like I'm not playing with a headset on, or I'm playing with a TV, and then like we got like the kid making noise and all this other stuff, and you're supposed to be listening for something, and you just blatantly pass it, and it's like,
Yeah.
where did I leave this thing at?
Yeah. And now I know we're shitting on this a lot, but that's like 1 out of 20 missions that it's like
Right.
that. I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's so I mean we're griping about it, but for anybody who has interest in playing this game, it's not the whole time, and really it's only going to happen a couple of times, probably towards the end of the game when things start to get a little bit more congested. I will say this though, the one type of side mission that I pretty consistently had an annoyance with was the one where you had to defend multiple stashes and they would move. So like you would start by defending one stash from incoming enemies, and then all of a sudden they'd be like, "Hey, good job. Go defend this one. It's under attack." And you're like, "Where?" And so then you would look around, and it would all of a sudden you would see an icon like on top of a bridge 2 blocks away, and you're like, "How the fuck am I supposed to get there?"
Right. Yeah. I
And
mean, the best version of those is when you can see the one from the other, but those are so few and far between that it's just like
yeah,
you're just making a trek just to get to the next one. And then by that time, it's already been like it's being attacked. It's currently being taken over.
yeah, you get there and it's at half health, and then so you defend it. So then you got to go back to the one you just got done with, only to then have to go back to the one that's already half dead, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it's just like it's like a weird not a capture the flag. It's just like a weird like domination kind of thing, like from Call of Duty back in the
Yeah.
day, where you had to like hold certain points, and there's no way you're gonna be able to hold all three at once.
No.
But like I feel like yeah, you're always having to backtrack for that.
But again, like that's where this game shows its strength in multiplayer. Like if you were
Mhm.
doing that with 2 or 3 friends, you would have no issue.
Oh
But
yeah,
but
especially over
doing it
voice chat.
alone, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, go defend B. Oh, go defend A. It's like, so yeah, doing it with friends, you would have no. You just plant a couple of friends at each one, and you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and that you can also like relay back and forth. Okay, it's like okay, is this one good? You need help here, so on and so forth. Definitely, it definitely was made for that. Made for
Yeah,
like multiplayer voice chat, like real time communication kind of things.
for sure. And so was a lot of the perks, honestly. Like you talked in the beginning about having the skill trees and the different perks like tank, heal, or whatever. And I found myself using only a couple of the ones where like there was the one I used the entire game, which was sometimes when you headshot an enemy with your or you kill an enemy with your sidearm, you get 1 mag full of ammo for your primary weapon. I
Yeah.
used that the entire game from the minute I upload or unlocked it. But
I've,
90% of these perks are made for online play.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Like you get like this chem launcher that's specifically made to help heal other people, or like repair their armor or whatever. And then like you have like things that are specifically made to like help guard people or help heal them or give
Yeah.
cover fire or something like that. Like definitely squad based multiplayer was where this was at.
Yeah. And I will say, if you do have a group of friends that is willing to get this game, or like Ubisoft games, come on, they go on sale like every other week. If you have any interest in playing this game, and you have a couple of friends you can pick it up with and go through it with at a same pace, do it. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
genuinely
sure.
had a good time with this one.
And honestly, don't be like me and skip all the story because the story is worth watching and reading.
Yeah.
I'm just in that like the MMO mode where it's just like I want free stuff, give me free stuff, and then I just like skip. I just like mash buttons to skip everything, like But the story is worth it. Like I went back and like I read some of the dialogue stuff and I watched some of the cutscenes and stuff like that because I was trying to play it in a hurry
Mm.
this time around, and I was like, this was actually worth listening to.
Yeah, and some of the like cell phone recordings that you can pick up throughout the game that just give you a little bit more context of like, the everyday civilian's life in this, cataclysmic situation. Like it's really touching. And I feel like especially now, like I said, post-COVID, like this game really does hit hard, especially for anybody who has been to New York in and around that time. Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's kind of
Um,
uncanny.
yeah, no, absolutely. And like like as you were saying, like some of the recordings from people, like if you see some of the characters, like some of their side stories where you see who they were
Yeah.
before they turned into what they are, it's really like, oh, this person used to be a mom. This person used to be like, a soccer coach or something like that. And then they're like a battle hardened like commander of an outpost.
Yeah. Well, like even like the head of the cleaners, like you start to listen to his recordings as you find them around the city, and you're kind of like, okay, this guy was a garbage man, and his job was to clean up the city, and he's, whatever. And you're like, some of the things he's saying is starting to make sense. Like it's
Right, right.
kind of crazy once you hear their whole side of the story.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was another thing that a good portion of Clancy games are really good at. They make characters both good and bad somewhat relatable in a certain sense.
Yeah, it's really great when a game gives you an enemy that's, or a villain that's not just two-dimensional.
Right, right. It's just like he's evil because he's evil. Like, oh, all right. I guess I'll fight him.
Yeah, like so many games, like nothing's coming to mind right now, but I know I've covered some in like okay, Yakuza Kiwami 2, like the main bad of that game, like you can't help but love him at the same
Hmm.
time because he's such a deep character and he's compassionate and like he won't fight you when you're already bruised up. Like he will defend you and whatever, but like he is the villain. And it's like in this game, granted, yeah, you don't have any kind of, moments where you can really empathize with these villains until they're after, post-mortem, but it's like once you start to listen to all their recordings and you get a deeper understanding of who these characters all are, yeah, it's like wow.
Yeah, I mean that kind of reminds me of now you think about it, kind of reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 4 at the
Mm.
very end, where they're sitting there like it's Old Snake. He's beat the hell up. He's going against like Liquid Snake, taking over someone else's body, Ocelot's body, and it got to the point where they just like were both just exhausted, and then they both hit each other with a stem, and they get back up. Like, all right, now it's getting real.
Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna have a real like I'm not gonna fight you unless it's a real one.
Right, exactly. Like I want to actually defeat you. I don't want to like be like in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I don't know why that just reminded me of the Family Guy clip when Herbert goes up against the Nazi neighbor. I don't know if you saw that. Like the two old guys fighting, and like they stop to take their pills in the middle of the fight.
Yeah. For a second there, I almost thought you were going to say Peter and the chicken.
No, but that makes sense too. Yeah, like the episode. Like I think, dude, I'm a Family Guy junkie. Like I could host a podcast just about Family Guy. But there was an episode in one of the recent seasons where like the chicken ends up kind of on his deathbed in the hospital, and it's up to Peter to like bring him back to health. Like it just kind of reminded me of that too. Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Uh,
I haven't seen the later ones, but I was definitely huge in like the first. I think I have like the first 6 or 7 seasons on Blu-ray or DVD somewhere.
Dude, those are the best. Those are the best seasons. I mean, like, so there's
Yeah,
still some bangers. It's kind of like The Simpsons. Like, there's still some bangers. Even closer to today. Like, they're not all bad, but for the most
yeah,
part, like, I just kind of watch Family Guy, and it takes a lot for it to make me laugh now. But
yeah. I feel like that and Futurama were the same thing for me. Like they used to be like, oh, this is the kind of show where I'm watching it to wind down because it came out in a certain time period in Adult Swim and all that. And so like at a certain point, it's like it was really funny, but now I feel like I need to go to sleep. It's just
dude,
based on the same time.
Futurama, I got a lot of love for Futurama, and I will say that is, I think, the best adult cartoon for pulling on the heartstrings.
Oh yeah. Oh dude. Like I keep it goes back to that to Fry's dog back in the day when he goes into the
Yes.
future. Oh my god.
Yeah, that one just always comes to mind when I think about the sadness of that show. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And the fact that he just sat there and waited for the I was like, oh, you can't do this to me. Like I'm
I
about to go to bed. You can't do this to
talk about a grown man crying, dude.
right?
Like, that episode gets me to this day.
You're just gonna sit there like looking at the ceiling, like trying to go to sleep. You're never gonna stop staring at the ceiling anymore.
You're gonna just cuddle your dog like extra hard that night.
Basically, yeah. The dog's gonna be like, "What the hell? Where did this
I'm
come
never gonna
from?"
leave you.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, no, it's like the backstories of these characters are they, like I said, definitely at least somewhat relatable in some cases. But yeah, you only really hear about them after the fact, like after you've already filled them full of lead. It's like, oh, this guy used to be a school teacher. Oh God.
Yeah, and I, dude, like I'm gonna get hard into spoiler territory now, but like so anybody who doesn't want to hear major spoilers about the end of the game, skip ahead a little bit. But the cliffhanger that this game ends you on, like you don't know who you're chasing the whole game, and like
Yeah.
you end up chasing another, what was it, Wave One Division member, or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that come back in the second game? I just want to know.
It does not. At least not immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I'm sure it may later down, but I didn't have a chance. Like the second division, I didn't play the whole way through.
Okay.
So but when you first start, it's just like, oh, you're in DC, shit's hit the fan, kind of like it did in New York. But we're a little more organized now. And but honestly, so as far as I played it, I didn't think it did. But I could be wrong because, like I said, I didn't play the whole thing.
Okay. Well, if you want to do a co-op playthrough of that, man, hit me up.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because like I was gonna say, like, this game. I mean, let's kind of start wrapping things up a little bit, but like I had genuinely a good time playing through this game. I was compelled to keep going. I was looking forward to playing it when I got home from work, kind of thing. And I really enjoyed fighting my way through the cleaners. I liked wrapping up them. I liked fighting my way through the Rikers. Had a good time closing up that storyline. The LMB, I felt in the end with the helicopter, I know it was supposed to be like this big climactic battle, but the way that it ended, at least for me, just taking him out with my primary weapon, felt very anticlimactic.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and I was feeling kind of let down because once you finish that fight, it's kind of like, hey, congratulations, you beat the game.
Yeah. And honestly, like it felt like it was, and don't get me wrong, like as I was going through the story, it felt like the faction you were fighting was more prepared than the last,
Yeah.
and to the point where it's the LMB and they're just basically an army.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt like, and this happens in most multiplayer like MMO kind of games, like it just gears you towards end game. Like it just
Yeah.
like, this is the story. Congratulations, now this is where the actual game begins.
Yeah.
And like, well, even though the story was great, like I still had that kind of feeling, especially with the ending.
I will say though, even though that final LMB fight felt very anticlimactic, it did redeem itself by giving me that last kind of like post-credit cutscene. Once you go all the way back to, I don't know if you did this, but if you go all the way back to like the very beginning area, there's a building right across the street from like the main hub that you start out in Manhattan. And if you follow the echoes up into it, you find that the Wave 1 Division member left you a handful of echoes to listen to, and like it leaves such a great cliffhanger.
Oh, now
like,
I gotta
oh,
do that. I did not do that.
oh, dude, you gotta do
Yeah.
that, because that, like, you have almost like a one-on-one conversation with this guy's echo, and you see him, like, it is closure to the game, and it was so fucking good.
And just the fact that like it goes back to the start with somebody who started the whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I feel like I have to listen to that. That's bananas.
It feels like the way that it hit me was like, this guy that you just went all over Manhattan trying to find, you come to find out he was holed up in a building across the street
Right.
from where you started, and that's how he made his escape. He was literally in the heart of the lion's den the whole time, and then he just left you with his ghost.
Yeah, it's like trying to find the best burger in town only to find out you've already found the best burger. You're just getting disappointed over and over again.
Yeah, and it's from the diner or whatever that you live next to. It's
Exactly. It's like within walking distance. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I thought that the way that this game ended, I felt very complete. And I can't say that about a lot of games. I mean, I can say that about Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, but there's not a lot of games out there that I feel like once I'm ended, I feel like, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah, and it's also like one of those games where like you want like I said, I had to watch the story secondhand, right? I just skipped everything.
Yeah.
But like after getting to it, it feels like one of those games where you want to watch like the credits to completion. Like you want to go through the whole scene. Like, is there anything more to kind of help wrap this up?
Yeah.
And there's a very few games that will do that. That like honestly, and I know this sounds weird and very off topic of what this is, but the first Lunar was like that to me. Like I watched the entire credit scene. There was like voiceover bloopers and stuff. Like I watched the whole thing, and I'm like, this is complete. I've finally done it. This is everything. Like I feel like I got a very complete experience out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If you haven't gone, sorry, and checked out that final like closure scene, definitely check that out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm probably gonna do that after we get off this. After we get off the podcast here.
Hell yeah. I mean, I think I've gone through pretty much all the bullet points I wanted to hit. How about you?
I think yeah, I pretty much weaved all my bullet points into the conversation. Thankfully organically, and but yeah, no, I think I got over everything I needed to go over.
Awesome, man. Well, you know what? Let's slap a rating on this bad boy. And as per usual, I mean, you said you've listened to the show many times in the past. I like to give you the opportunity as the guest to pick what scale you would like to rate this out of. If you have nothing, we can just do it out of 10. Do you have anything in mind?
I mean, I think I like doing. I think I'll do it out of five. Out of five is good to me. Like, we'll
Okay.
do five marksman rifles.
All right, I'm down with that.
All right. So I think for this one here, I would probably do a four marksman rifle out of five out of this.
Okay. I can
Yeah.
agree with that. And why? What takes points away, and what really gives you the like? Just to sum it all up.
So honestly, like the gunplay was on point. Like
Yeah.
the fact that that everything was modeled off of real weapons. The story after I went back and watched it was great. I feel the only thing that really took the point off of it is that some of the quests did feel very samey.
Mhm.
And if you're somebody who likes a particular kind of weapon, like if you like SMGs, like Asara, those don't really change that much. Like you can mod them, sure, but you get the same kind of mods, and like the design doesn't really change. The firing rate kind of changes here and there, but there's not a whole lot of difference, not a lot of variety, especially coming off of if you come off a game like Borderlands or something like that. Like you will not find that variety here.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I mean, it's great.
All right. Yeah, no, I can definitely. I mean, I know it makes for bad radio, but I can absolutely agree with all those points. And my personal rating, I want to give it something funky. Like I'm gonna give it a 4.25. I liked this game a lot. There's not a lot of games that I feel anymore like that really wrote me in. Like I want to complete them, not just for the sake of, oh, I need to create content for this show, but this I actually had fun with this one. Like I wanted to continue playing it. I was binging this game. And I was going on somewhat of a completionist run. Like I enjoyed going after the collectibles and doing the missions and like you said, stopping for every side, encounter and everything like that. I was having a great time. The gunplay, like you said, I agree, was on point. I had a fantastic time, and it was very satisfying getting headshots in this game with the marksman rifle and just blowing up the tanks on the back of the cleaners. Like I just had a lot of fun doing the little things in this game that they provide you with. Where it loses points for me, I mean, as we said, was a couple of the side missions. I agree, they felt kind of samey. The water pressure missions annoyed me, and those missions where you had to defend multiple stashes and run around like a chicken with your head cut off during solo play, those were kind of annoying. I think the Dark Zone was really cool in concept. I didn't really get to play around with it much, but I also like how much more this game opens up after you've completed it.
Yeah.
This game's definitely not perfect, but in the end, I can confidently say I recommend it. And if you have,
Yeah.
like I said, if you have a couple of friends that you can pick this game up with, it's still very, very easy to go back to today, 10 years later.
Yeah, I would definitely rank this up there with the first, like in the way of Tom Clancy games and the way of Ubisoft multiplayer games. I would definitely rank this up with the first Ghost Recon. Is it not Wildlands? No, it is Wildlands because Breakpoint's the second one.
Okay.
I would rank it up with that. Like you have nice, like good, elaborate squad play. The story in this one I think is stronger, but the gunplay is great.
Yeah. It's a solid game. It's a fun, solid game.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
But all right, buddy. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time, and I know I dropped this on you last minute, but I thank you so much for putting forth the effort to brush up and join me on this. I had a really great time talking about this with you.
Oh yeah, man, it was great. I had fun.
Hell yeah, man. And I'll definitely be looking forward to having you on the show again, hopefully for Sleeping Dogs soon enough.
There we go. Yeah, and if you ever
But
decide to play Shinobi 3, just let me know.
all right, buddy. Sounds good. Thanks again.
Anytime. You take care.
All right, and for anybody who stuck around, I forgot to include this during the episode, but we got to do our plugs. And with my buddy here, Aeon Driver, who has been a long follower and friend of the podcast, please plug your channel.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I have Aeon Driver Gaming on my Instagram, and I believe I haven't looked at it in a while, but it is Aeon Driver underscore gaming. And then I also opened up a TikTok, which is just going to be for my more long form videos, so I know that what I've been recently doing with my videos have been 10 minutes plus. So I'm kind of shortening those for Instagram and then keeping the long form versions for the TikTok, which is the same way. It's Aeon Driver underscore gaming, and I think that's just about it. I have a YouTube channel, but it's honestly just for watching other YouTube videos. I might make something of that later on, but I just need the time for it.
All right, good shit, man. And I will definitely be sure to tag and link with hyperlinks everything to your channel and pages in the description of this podcast. So people will be able to access everything there. And I highly recommend you check out his page because he has a wicked collection, as I've shouted out on multiple of the episodes in the past. He does really great content. So, and you also do playing cards, right?
I do every Friday. I'm a playing card collector, and I have been for a while. So every Friday, I kind of show off what I've accumulated over the years.
And I've seen you have some pretty cool collections of playing cards. I've been pretty impressed seeing those as I've followed you. But yeah, I'll definitely link your stuff, and I'm happy to shout you out for sure. And for anybody who enjoyed this episode and would like to hear more, please feel free to give me a like, give me a follow, and keep in touch with me. And I don't know, follow me on Spotify, which is really where most of my listeners are. But you can find me on Instagram at @thebardsofgaming, or you can find me on Twitter or X at 2bardsofgaming with the number 2. You can also find all links to my socials as well as my email at thebardsofgamingpodcast.com. And if you want to shoot me an email or shoot me a DM, I am more than happy to talk gaming, movies, whatever with anybody. Hit me up. Anyway, thanks. Have a good one.